This is second chapter, and I think, 13th verse. And most of you understand this and know this verse, but nevertheless I'll comment on it. So anybody, what is this verse? Dehinosme tha dehe kaumaram yavnam jara tatha dehantar prapte dhiga satrana muli. Famous verse. Prabhupada often commented on it, and he emphasized on this verse in his teachings because this forms the basis and foundation of our entire Krishna consciousness. In fact, not just Krishna consciousness, the entire spirituality, wherever it exists in whatever form. This is a verse. Without this verse, there can be no spiritual institution and no spiritual guru, because this is where Bhagavad Gita begins. Now this is a verse where Bhagavad Gita begins officially, not officially but instruction wise. Krishna is bringing the topic of soul and body. That is spirituality. Spirituality means to be concerned with soul and not to be too much concerned with body. We have to take care of the body, but body is not the aim. We use the body to realize our soul. Soul is the aim. But of course, materialistic civilization, they have just flipped it. Their whole endeavor is to actually take care of body, polish it, and the soul part is entirely missing, just because science cannot prove the existence of soul. So that's why they thought that let us neglect it. In fact, Western civilization, they didn't neglect soul as such, that it's all bogus. What happened in Western civilization, there was before 300 years, Western civilization used to believe in spirituality. In fact, it was a big section of society were actually believing in spirituality. There were so many philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they all believed in spirituality. They all believed in the existence of soul beyond the body, especially Socrates. Whole Western civilization is the basis of entire Western civilization is Socrates and Plato, his disciple. In fact, one of the philosopher, Northfield Whitehead, he mentioned in his book the entire philosophy of Western civilization are footnotes to Plato. So of course, when there was Renaissance period, 17th, 18th century in Western civilization, what they did was, they said, okay, fine, there is soul, there is body, but let's give this subject of soul to philosophers. Let them handle it. As far as we are concerned, we will focus on matter and body and try to bring the inventions and blah blah blah. But there was a divide between spirituality and materialism. That's what happened in materialistic civilization in Western world. And who did it? This was done by René Descartes. You know this, René Descartes. He was a mathematician, philosopher, and also a military person. And so by the way, he was appointed to fight in a war, and he became a soldier. He went to the war, and he was sitting in the bunker. So bunkers, bunkers where so he was sitting in the bunker, and he was actually having a very, very strong migraine problem. And there was bombing all around and shooting around, and his mind was going bonkers. He was sitting, and he was meditating, and suddenly a flash came to him. And he said, oh, actually, I am soul. I am not this body. And then he thought, okay, I am soul, I'm not this body, but if I keep on thinking about, but if I mix this spirituality with materialism, if I focus on soul, then I cannot focus on body or the matter. If I focus on matter, I will not be able to focus on soul. So let's divide it. Let us keep this part of spirituality separate. We'll deal with it later. Now let us grow, and let us grow a materialistic civilization. Let us invent arts, arts and dance and music and industries and buildings, and that is what he did in that period of war. So he came up with a philosophy of dualism. That was his philosophy. Dualism means there is soul, there is body. But so we also believe in this. Krishna is saying the exactly same thing in this verse. There is soul, there is body. But what they did is they chose to focus on body. We, as students of Bhagavad Gita, we choose to focus on soul. That is the main difference. It's not that we don't take care of the body. Our priorities are different. Krishna's priority in this verse is very different. None of our rishis, none of our saints, they said, so neglect the body and take care of soul. None of the rishis said this. All the rishis, our Vedas, our scriptures, they all recommended, okay, this body is a means to achieve self-realization. That was their recommendation. It is a means to attain self-realization. So just like if you want to go on the first floor, you use stairs. There are stairs to go on first floor. If you want to go on second floor, again you have to use stairs. So this body is like a stair. You use it to go on first floor. First floor is like your soul. So we are using it. In fact, Bhagavatam says this body is a means to attain the soul. At the same time, it is a block. It is also an obstacle, by the way. Because there will be disease, there will be old age, there will be problems in this body, you have to struggle with it, but at the same time we have to use it. It's the best use of bad bargain. It's the best use of bad bargain. You have a boat and you have to cross the ocean. There is no other solution, but that boat is shattered and tattered. There are holes and this and that. It's a 200 years old boat, but there's no option. So exactly same thing Krishna is saying. So the first point in this verse is Krishna is mentioning there that okay, you have somehow we are this body. Realize that you're not this body, your soul. Take care of the soul. Take care of body. Use this body to understand, to have self-realization. Now, so after having said this, let's come to this verse. What Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So what Krishna is saying, Dehinosmin yatha dehi. Dehino means, in Sanskrit, the word deha means body. And dehino means the person who is having this body. So for example, you take me. I have this body, you are seeing me. But you cannot see me. You can see my body, but you cannot see me. Now you might say, this is crazy. I can see you, and I can also see you all. But that's not the fact. We are an illusion. You can see my body, but you cannot see me. Because the only person in this world who can see me is myself. That's all. You might ask, this is crazy, what you're saying, you've gone mad. No, that's what Krishna is saying. They know. I can see you all on Zoom. I can see your body, I can see your complexion, I can see your height, I can see your face. But I cannot read your mind now, isn't it? I cannot see what you are thinking inside your mind. I cannot see your thoughts. I cannot see your feelings, isn't it? I can't see. Your feelings and your thoughts are simply reserved for you. That is your private room in your head. And I cannot enter it. Only you can enter it. God has made your feelings and thoughts accessible only to you, to nobody else. So in that sense, I can see you, but I cannot see you. You see that, so there was, so in s𝗰𝗶𝗶𝗹, what happened, so these four Kumaras, the Brahmaji's son, Sanat Sanat Kumar, the so Brahmaji had four sons, and they went to Brahma, their father. And when they went to their father, they asked their Brahmaji, we can't understand, who am I? Who are we? Our minds are uncontrolled. How to control this mind? That was the question. Brahmaji said, well, it's very difficult to control mind. I cannot tell you. So suddenly a swan came there. And so they said, who are you? They asked the swan. The swan said to them, this question is wrong. This question is wrong. Because if you are asking me who are you, and if you are pointing this question to my body, then it doesn't make any sense, because my body is made of earth, fire, water, air, ether. And similarly, the same elements make your body. So, why you're asking this question? Who are you? I am earth, water, fire, air, ether. A combination of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So this is complete nonsense question. So then they were bewildered. They were saying, what's happening? So the swan. So they were confused. So swan told, well, if you are asking this question, who are you, and not referring to my body, but to my soul, then also question is wrong, because you cannot see my soul. So if you ask me, who are you, I cannot show you who am I, because only I know who am I. You see the point there? This is a very beautiful point. That is why this word dehino is used. Nobody can know anybody. That is full stop. That's a full stop. Even husband and wife, no matter how much close they are, a person knows himself 100%. Nobody else can know him 100%. Everybody else can know them partially. That's the whole point there. And that's why Krishna is saying, if you want to know yourself, if you want to know who you are, you have to practice yourself. You have to meditate yourself. You have to experience yourself. Nobody can help you in this. Guru and your friends, your guide can give you knowledge, but you have to experience yourself, because only you can know yourself. That's the whole idea. Now, dehino, that's why the word dehino is used. We are trapped in this body as soul, and we have trapped ourselves in the body, and only we can liberate ourselves from our body. We are the cause of problem. We will be the cause of a solution. Nobody can help us. Nobody in this world can help us. If you have cancer, then you have to take medicine. You can't give medicine to your parents and expect that you will be okay. It doesn't happen like that. You can't give medicine to your friend. So my dear friend, please take this medicine for me, because I don't have I don't have time to take medicine. It doesn't work. A doctor can prescribe you some prescription, but you have to take the medicine. That's the whole thing. So if we want to understand I am not this body, the first step is to understand I am trapped in this body. That is what is dehino. Dehino asmin. That is why Krishna brings this point, asmin. We are trapped in this body. We are not this body. That's the first step. Then the second step comes, how to get free from this body. Then the second step comes. So, now you might say, well, we are trapped in this body. How to understand this? I can't understand this. Is there any logic by which you can explain this? Krishna does that. Kaumaram Yovanam Jara. Krishna says that okay, fine, I'll give you example. Krishna gives example. Krishna gives example. Just like when you were a child, your body was small, and our facial features were different. So in fact, even if your parents will show you photograph of your childhood, you will not be able to recognize it. It's very different. Now our faces, our profile is very different. When we were children, our profile was different as far as bodily construction is concerned. When we will become old, our profile will be very different. So just like you see, all the Facebook sometimes that comes, all these actors, Hollywood and Bollywood, they say in child they were like this, now they are like this, isn't it? They compare, so many times, and you see they're completely different. Nobody can recognize this is the same person. So Krishna says this shows that your body is changing, but you have not changed. You are the same person. Everybody knows I am the same person 50 years ago, and now I am the same person 50 years afterwards. It's that experience of I, that experience of me remains the same throughout. Although our body changes. I am I. You are you. You don't change. Even if you become 70 years old, you will feel young. You will feel young. Every old man feels young. Inside his heart. Externally he might think, I can't work, I'm tired and this. But inside their heart they feel young. Why? Because they are there. They are there. So it doesn't happen that one fine morning you get up and you say, I forgot myself. That doesn't happen. You never forget yourself. So that shows that there is an experience in your life which is very different from your body. Something is not changing. That's the whole point. Something is not changing within you. That's why this Kaumaram Yovanam Jara is a change. Krishna is bringing this deep point of Bhagavad Gita. Everything in this world will change. Nothing is constant. Everything will change. Even time. Every second the entire universe is changing. Every second your body is changing, your cells are changing, your metabolism is changing, your physiology is changing. One thing is not changing, that is experience of I. Isn't it? So just like, okay, fine, here on this forum we have Bhushan Patil, Sneha, Richa, Rupal, Surendra Prabhu. Okay. So will you forget that you are Sneha sometimes, or your Rupal, or your Richa? Never. You will never forget. In spite of the fact that everything around you will change, your body will change, but you will never forget that I am this. And that is what Krishna is trying to make us impress. There are two things in this world. One is change and one is constant. And anybody who can understand both of them, he gets liberated. And that's what 𝗙ષ. So what's that verse of 𝗙ષ? Avidyam vidyam avi. Avidya is change, vidya is constancy, permanence. And that is the secret of this world, which is called as dualism. Which in Chinese, it is called as yin-yang. So if anybody can understand this, he can understand what is spirituality. If you don't understand this, it will be very difficult to attain self-realization, very difficult to progress in actually knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. This is the basis. Now if you think about it, okay, fine. So let's take an example. What all is changing around us? Everything is changing. Weather, night and day. In fact, so what else is changing?
Seasons.
Season, huh?
Government is changing.
Seasons, government is changing. Now we have Trump and somebody else is coming.
Technology is changing.
Technology is changing. Technology is changing. And your food is changing day by day. what do you eat? Your
Clothes.
Huh?
Clothes.
Yeah, of course, your clothes are changing. Krishna gives example of clothes. Your clothes are changing. What else is changing?
Our circle of friends, as we grow older, we
Yeah,
lose more friends.
Your
We
friends
gain
are
more friends.
definitely, your friends are changing. Your relationships are changing. Your thoughts are changing. Every second you are thinking something else. So, in this change, in this word of change, there is something which is not changing. What is that? What's that?
Soul.
No. Forget soul. Something which is not changing, which you know, but you never thought about it. So what is that? Attitude also changes. Attitude changes, circumstances changes. Huh?
Experience of life.
You have to put it in a very simple language. Something is not changing. Tell me what is not changing. Huh?
Our identity.
Yeah, good.
Our identity.
Yeah, our identity, my experience of myself is not changing. That is, my I is not changing. That doesn't change. I am seeing this change, but I am not changing. You see the point there? You were seeing seasons change, relationships change, technology change, but the person who is seeing that is not changing. You are saying your thoughts might be changing, but you are not changing. You are constant. Your life, your identity, the experience of I and me, that doesn't change throughout. That is a deep insight of Krishna, which actually nobody thinks about it, isn't it? And that's basically an irony. That's a paradox. Because the first thing, I am I, and I should know I am not changing. But nevertheless, we forget ourselves and we are lost in this change. And that's a trick of Maya. What Maya does, what is illusion doing? Illusion is trying to present you change and trying to absorb your mind. Change attracts, isn't it? So there's a saying in English, variety is mother of enjoyment. Variety is mother of enjoyment. So anything changes will actually catch your attention. So what illusion is doing, it is trying to change everything every second so that you're busy in actually experiencing that change. Okay, today night, today day, this friend, that friend, internet, everything is changing every second. And you're swiping and swiping and swiping, so you're absorbed. And what happens is, because you're absorbed in this change, we are actually unable to think. We lose this capacity to understand that my identity is not changing. I am I. So what Krishna is saying, that is why Bhagavad Gita brings this concept meditation. Don't, for some time, shut your eyes. Don't observe this change. Because if you observe this change, you will be absorbed in it. What do I say? The biggest example of this is movies. So when you're watching movies, you forget everything. You get absorbed. Why? Because the director, the producer, they make sure that every 1/8 second the scene will change. The emotions will change. There will be suspense. Because these people, they know the power of change. Movie makers, advertisement, people who are advertising, they know this power of change and they exploit this power of change to attract your mind. And you're absorbed. So what's music? Music is change. If you play the same tune, you'll become bored. But there are so many notes, isn't it? That's change basically. That's why it is so attractive. So why do small kids appeal and they look beautiful and we are engaged with them. Why we are attracted to small kids? Because they keep on changing. They are very naughty. Naughty means change, basically. They're doing something, sometimes. And why old people are very boring? No change. They are sitting on one seat, watching the sky, doing nothing. It's boring. So that is the tool of illusion, change. If you understand this, you will understand self-realization. And that is why all spiritualists, their whole teaching revolves around stop observing this change. Remove yourself from this change. This the word which is changing. Get disconnected from it. Then you will be able to experience yourself. You will be able to focus on yourself. And you will be able to understand who you are. So is this clear to all of you? Is this clear? I think so. Okay, fine. Everybody's like this. Everybody's not doing this. Some of them are. Okay, fine. If this clear, if this has to be clear. This is the first two lines of this verse. Dehanosmrthadehe kaumaram yognam jara. This is the first two lines. Although the translation is soul goes from body to youth, from boyhood to youth to old age. If you don't see this verse in a very introspective way, then you will not be able to understand what Krishna is saying. Whole Buddhist philosophy is based on this one statement change. If you see Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, Krishna is again bringing change. Dukh, Sukh, Man, Apman, Sheet, winter, summer. This is all duality. This is all changing. So you have to get disconnected from this change. Now how to do that? Meditation. Close your eyes. Don't see this word for some time. Don't think about this word for some time. Because as soon as you keep on thinking, everything is changing. Again you will go with the flow. So all these meditations are based on one point. Whether it be Dhyan Yoga, Raj Yoga, Gherand Yoga, or maybe Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, any yoga is based on this one principle. Shut your senses for some time. Stop seeing, stop thinking, stop hearing, stop smelling about this changing world. Don't do this. You got the point? Any meditation. So meditation is not that you sit, that is not meditation. You have to understand the concept. Any meditation without knowledge is useless. You have to have knowledge. You can't just sit, close your eyes and you're meditating. That doesn't happen. You have to understand what you're doing. So now the question comes. How to stop thinking, how to stop seeing this change. Merely closing eyes will not really help you, because if you close your eyes, of course, you can't see this word, but you can think about this word. Your mind will keep on thinking, isn't it? So still your mind will race, it will just keep on thinking. So every second, again our mind is absorbed in the change. So how to do that? The proposal is any meditation if you take, the proposal is that the first step is okay. You have to understand change is not good for you. If you are involved in this change, you will not be able to focus on yourself. Krishna recommends, we need help. Ourselves will not be able to stop a mind. A mind will keep on running. By our own endeavor, by our own power, it's almost impossible to stop mind. So that's why Krishna recommends take help. Because we are actually we are habituated to involve ourselves in this change. We are habituated since lifetimes. We have an addiction for this change. So Krishna says, okay, no problem, take my help. And that is why the role of Bhakti Yoga comes. We chant, we chant Hare Krishna, we take help from God. We close our eyes, we chant, and we take help from God, and we pray to Krishna, we pray to God, please help us to disconnect ourselves from this change. Please do that. I want to stop my mind. Krishna, please help me. I want to disconnect from this change. I want to go from change to permanence. From life, from darkness to light. From death to life. I want that. I want to know myself. Once with this attitude we chant, things will move forward. If we don't have this attitude in ourselves, and if we simply chant like a protocol, or like a ritual, then we don't advance much. We don't understand what we're doing. So what happens is, Srila Prabhupada said, chant and hear. That's why Srila Prabhupada said. Once you chant with this attitude, with this understanding what I have told you, and you pray to God that, oh Krishna, I understand that this whole world is illusion of change, and I want to disconnect from this so that I can understand myself. And once I understand myself, then I want to serve you. Your attitude is clear, your goal is clear, and then the meditation works. So when you chant, you have to do this. You have to think in your mind like this. And then, Krishna, please help me to do this. Then things will work, otherwise things will not work. And that is what is Bhakti Yoga, by the way. So what happens by Bhakti Yoga? Slowly when you keep on chanting with the proper attitude, what will happen is your mind will become stable. Your mind will become stable. You will get disconnected from this word, from this mind, and you will come to yourself. You will understand who am I. And in fact, by the way, okay, tell me, anybody who doesn't understand who he is, suppose I ask you, who are you? And you say, I don't know. So what do you call such a person? What do you call such a person? He's a mad person, he's an insane man, isn't it? So according to Krishna, entire world is insane and mad. Because that's the first thing we should know. Who am I? And nobody knows that. So that's why Krishna says, 𝗙cie Dr namuyati. Become Dhira, become a sober man. Become a gentleman. Prabhupada uses this word gentleman. A gentleman, a sober man, a man of spirituality. What he does is, he controls his senses so that he's not absorbed in this change. Brings it inside like a tortoise. Krishna gives the example. Like a tortoise, what it does? A tortoise withdraws his legs and neck and legs inside the shell. So you withdraw the senses, you hold the beads and chant. So when you chant, this preparation has to be done before you chant. You have to withdraw your senses and you have to say, change is not good for me, let me focus my mind on holy names. With this attitude, if you chant and then pray, oh Krishna, please help me to understand myself. You see, that's the whole thing. We are not saying to Krishna, Krishna, please help me to understand you. That will happen. Krishna, please help me to understand myself. I am in such a stupid condition. I even don't know myself. And I am trying to understand everything else. That's the real insanity. So Krishna, I want to get free of this insanity and I want to be established in myself. Please help. And then chanting will work, you will see. Then Hare Krishna is a very powerful tool. Krishna will help us from within us. And Krishna will take us from this world of change to word of eternity, word of permanence. That is the soul. Then we become Dhira. Dhira means a self-controlled person. A patience, a person who has patience. A person who is not bewildered by this change. Who is a witnesser to this change. And that's a Dhira. 𝗙cie Dr muyati means bewildered. So all confusions are gone. Once you are established in yourself, all confusions are gone, all fears are gone, all the negative things from a life will go away, and we will become God conscious. God conscious means, in modern parlance, God conscious means you'll become positive in your life, and you will become established within yourself. That is called self-realization. So that is this verse all about. This is the theme of Bhagavad Gita. And once you understand yourself, the next step is to understand God. Because you can't say, I understand God, but I don't understand myself. But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. If you can't understand yourself, you can't understand anything else. It's useless. It's the useless proposal. Okay, I understand Krishna. I am a devotee of Krishna. Are you self-realized? No. That is why 𝗙cie Prabhupada released this book, Science of Self, Science of Self-Realization. That is why Krishna is focusing. That is why Prabhupada's whole life, all lectures are focused on self-realization. Realize you're not this body, you're not this body, you're not this body. Again and again 𝗙cie Prabhupada is saying this. That is why this is a foundational verse. So there are many other things in this verse. I'm not going to touch it. I have touched on one point today. Just one point. The point is, everything is changing. I am not changing. And the whole focus of any meditation, any spirituality is to understand what is not changing. How do you do that? By meditation. By disconnecting yourself from this bird of change. How do you disconnect? By taking help from God. Our own efforts are very meager. How do you take help from God? By chanting Hare Krishna with a proper attitude, with this knowledge what we have just understood. And then things will slowly, gradually work, and we will advance in spirit. That's how it goes. Okay, anybody wants to ask anything? I'd like to stop here. I don't want to go into so many points. If you can understand one point in this life, this point, your life is perfect. But it might take a lot of efforts, many years and patience to understand this point. It's not easy. I mean to say you can understand, but to realize it's very difficult. We will automatically by reflex be absorbed in this change. You will see that. Automatically. That's a reflex. But to be witnesser, that's a problem. Okay, anybody wants to ask anything?
Sorry. Hare Krishna, thank you for your wonderful class and giving a valuable time. And my question is why we don't realize that we are so, in the Bhagavatam, it is said that pure devotees, they are able to see everyone as soul. In our daily activities, we like few people even though we know that everyone is soul, but still it's hard especially for me to realize that. So can you just give us some suggestion or your advice?
Well, why? It's hard. Of course it's hard. Otherwise, everybody would become a saint. No. It's not easy to do that. It's hard. That is why Krishna is telling us this. So we need practice. Practice makes a man perfect. Our practice is very slow, very low, very meager. The more you practice, the more trained you are. That's all. So that's what. And even after doing a practice, you need time. It needs a lot of time, because so many lifetimes we are conditioned. So many lifetimes we are actually wrongly wired. Our wiring is wrong. So to actually rewind that wiring, it takes time. It will take a lot of time. So to do right thing is not a problem. To actually erase the wrong thing, that's a big issue. That's a big problem. Otherwise, it's very easy to understand we are soul. But there's so many nonsense things in our mind, so many impressions of so many lifetimes, that is difficult to erase. And that is why you see, so there's a saying by one of the saints. It is not difficult to achieve your goal. What is difficult to remove the blocks on your path? So if you're traveling on a road, you can use your car and you can go to some destination easily, no problem. But if the road is absolutely ridiculous, there are bumps, there are so many blocks and there's so many rocks there, so many pits on the road, then it will take a lot of time to reach to your goal by using a car, and maybe your car also might be damaged or it wrecks down, something like that. So the problem is not with the process, the problem is within us. We have other problems. We have so much trash in our mind, and to remove that takes time. You see, so Srila Prabhupada tells this example. Two students, they went to a music teacher and they asked the teacher, okay, we want to learn music. So the teacher asked them, do you know some music? Have you learned the music sometimes? So one of the students, he said, yeah, actually I learned the music for 4 years, and through Google, through internet, I was trying to practice some music, and I know some notes and something and this and that. So the teacher told, okay, fine. So teacher said, this boy who doesn't know anything about music, I'll charge 1,000 rupees. And this boy who knows something about the music, I will charge 5,000 rupees. So he said, you're crazy. I know something about music, so you should charge less, because I already know notes and this, I know the theory. So he said, the problem is you know something about music, but you know it wrong. So first I have to brainwash you and get rid of your wrong things, and then I have to teach you the right thing. But this boy, he's fresh, so it's actually easy to teach him. And that's the whole thing. We have got so many wrong reflexes, so many bad habits. To remove that takes time. Otherwise, it's very simple process. It's not difficult. That is why it is taking time. We have bad habits, bad thoughts, bad reflexes. It takes time to break them. Is it clear?
Thank you, Prabhuji, by giving very nice example. Hare Krishna.
Oh, yeah. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, yeah.
Hi, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I think Prabhuji, in today's class you touched on that, we have to realize ourselves. But you also gave example that you were initially saying that scientists, they divided spirituality and philosophy, and they did not focus on the spirituality part. They focused more on the body part, the materialistic part. So, and if somebody does not have the appetite to learn about the spirituality of the soul, then, how can the progress happen? There is, the start, the engine is not only starting, when the vehicle will start,
so then
we reach the destination.
we have to have association of people who are interested in spirituality. You have to keep yourself in a circle of people who like spirituality, because all that matters is where you are, with whom you associate. You become whom you are with. That's what it matters. So if we are surrounded by fools, we'll definitely become a fool one day. And if we are surrounded by intelligent people, we'll become intelligent people. And that is why the role of association is the most important thing in spirituality. We have to surround ourselves with people who are interested in spirituality, attend their seminars, attend their talks, and then we'll get interest. The whole idea is interest. You can't get interest by reading books. That's not possible. Interest we can get by associating with a person who has the interest. They pass on this interest. And that is why sadhu sang, sarv shastra koi. That's the whole thing. That is why you're coming on this Zoom. Because I am not just giving you knowledge. I am giving you knowledge and also interest in that knowledge. Otherwise, you can hear this lecture on Bhagavad Gita, soul, and all this verse through some professor. In America, there's so many universities. Michigan University, you can ask some philosophy professor, okay, speak on this verse. He can speak. But the point is that will not help you to change yourself. That will not bring any change because he will simply give information because he's not practicing himself. But what saints are giving you is information with transformation. This will help you. Why? Because the way we are giving you this information is a very palatable way, very interesting way. Why? Because we are practicing it and we are finding interest in it. So because we are finding it, because the fact we are practicing it day after day, years after years, that means we are interested in it. Otherwise, how can we practice? And that interest we are passing on to you with that information, and that will bring transformation, and that will start the engine. And that is why saints can transform life of others. Philosophers cannot. That's the whole thing. Got the point?
Yes, Prabhuji, very good.
Yeah.
So I think that we should try to get away from the change, and I think that maybe kind of brings also the discipline in our lives because we are not always running after new things and maybe new materialistic things or new activities.
True. That's true. It will help you in your life.
I was thinking, will it how will people kind of innovate if they are not longing for change?
Yeah,
So I understand we can't.
Yeah, you're right. Your inventions will not be there. So let it be. No inventions. What's the requirement? Srila Prabhupada said, what's the requirement of inventions? Inventions are required for people who are not satisfied. You don't require inventions, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
Like? Unsatisfied with everything, but maybe try to change one thing.
no, that's the whole point. Why do you want to change? That's the whole philosophy of it. That don't change anything. Wherever you are, be satisfied, lead your life, that's all. Because this whole disease of changing things, this is a disease, Prabhupada says, this is a disease. You want to change. This is all Western civilization is. After every 10 years, there's a new fashion. And then after again 10 years, old fashion comes back again. First short heels, then high heels, then short heels, then high heels. That's what is happening. So that is a Prabhupada says that's a disease. That is what is wasting your time. So the whole endeavor of science, I mean to say even before science, humanity was existing. People were living. People were not dying. This whole human race didn't extinguish. They were living, and they were living more peacefully, by the way. This whole inventions have made us more bewildered, more diseases, more problems. So actually Srila Prabhupada said the system of God is stay at one place, have some house, have some land, have some cow, be happy, that's all. Meditate on yourself. But the civilization has become like that. So although this point is, if you say to your friends, they will not understand it. What's the use of innovation and this, especially in America. If you go to Google, Apple, they'll throw you out. But that's the agenda. Change, inventions, new Apple iPhone, i10, i11, i10, i12, i13, i14. That's change, isn't it? And what's happening? By this change, what they are trying to do? Of course, they are innovating things. That's one thing. But what this invention is doing? It is destroying the earth, and they're trying to go on Mars. This change has actually destroyed human race. So Krishna says, don't do that. Everything is already changing. Everything is changing. You just sit and you meditate on yourself, and that's it. That is the whole thing. So this whole endeavor of invention is wrong. It is not right. And we don't need to invent anything. Everything is already given by God. That is our understanding. Everything is a perfect arrangement. That is our understanding to begin with. 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹. When God made this earth, He made it perfect and perfectly suitable to us. Otherwise, this whole endeavor invention is actually it's a revolt against God. That my Lord, your creation is not perfect and it is not suiting to us. It is not comfortable. So we will make this world more comfortable, more perfect, more suitable because you are dumb and you're nonsense. And we are these people. So actually this is a demonic endeavor, isn't it? This is science is a claim that God, you're not perfect. But that doesn't mean that our Vedas do not have science. Our Vedas also have deep science, but that science was in harmony with this universe. It was not against these natural principles. You're inventing some machines and this and that. Our Vedic science was actually using the principles of universe to stay satisfied in this universe, on this planet Earth, and not to invent something else to destroy this. That is the whole modern science system. So it is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. It is absolutely wrong. Got the point? So that's the whole point. They are trying to invent rockets to go to Mars. Come on. So if God wanted us to go to Mars, He would have given us wings. Okay, fly and go to Mars and stay. But the fact He didn't give us wings, He wants us to stay here nicely, spend a short life, and be happy, and not be like always in anxiety. Have to go to Mars and Jupiter, like Elon Musk, and they're trying to, shift the whole human race on Mars. Why? You're a fool. You're going to Mars and you destroy the Earth, pollute the Earth, make it a garbage, and then take everybody to Mars. What this? You're completely crazy or what? This is madness. So, because modern science is madness. So I'm not against science. Science is good. But if that science is in sync and harmony with this universe. But the way modern science is doing, that's bad. That's a revolt against God. They're trying to make it more comfortable. Our Vedic rishis knew that everything is given by God, everything is perfectly arranged, and our Vedic rishis were informing us, okay, fine. If you go, so use these principles what God has given to stay nicely. That's all. Don't make something new, not required.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. There's one question in the chat. Can I
Yeah.
can you read or you? Okay. There's a question from Anu. She says that, then what about astrology? It is part of Vedas. Isn't astrology there? Isn't astrology there to live a better life understanding? Better life understanding the planetary alignments?
Who is asking this?
Anu.
Acha, astrology. Astrology is science, of course it is science. Yeah, it's a science. So what's the question? You can use astrology.
Yeah, but what I know from other people, astrology is a kind of science that helps us to, live a better life by understanding how the planets are placed. So we can change how we cope up with those changes. So ultimately, we are also doing some change, understanding this Vedic astrology. I don't know if my understanding about astrology is right or not.
No, astrology is trying to tell you what will happen in your life, what changes will come in your life, so that you are prepared for that change and you don't get bewildered by that change, and you become situated in yourself. If you don't know the enemy and the enemy comes suddenly, you will be bewildered. But astrology will tell you, okay,
Yeah.
now at this point, this problem. So we don't consult astrology to remove our problems. That's not our style. Because we are already chanting God's name, so there's no problem with us. People who are not chanting God's name, they might need solutions from astrology. Okay, there's a problem, this is a remedy. But we already have the supreme remedy, so that's no problem. But how it can help us is, it can tell you, okay, Mrs. Anu, next year you get a fracture of your leg. In the month of March. Okay, fine. So you know this. So you're already prepared. So the next year when you get fracture, you'll not get prepared. You'll say, okay, I knew this. I knew this will happen. So okay, let's cope up with it and let's keep on chanting and let's focus on God. But if suddenly something happens, then we will forget everything. So that's the role of astrology in our lives. And there are other things also. It's a big science. Astrology can also help you to understand your personality, your traits, who you are. It can help you. It can give you an insight, because at present we ourselves don't know who am I, like what is within me. We are bewildered by this change, isn't it? So it'll tell you, okay, these are your faults, these are your positive points, the negative points. So it can help us to get rid of our negative points, develop our positive things. And it's a very deep science. So all these things, that's why astrology was there. If child is born, we see astrology, so that we can decide which varna and ashrama he can go. That was required in Vedic system. So if that child is having Kshatriya qualities, Brahman qualities, he will be trained like that. Astrology is also used to do, used for yagyas. At what time we should do what yagya, at what time we should start the work, so that we'll be successful at proper nakshatra, at proper time. So there are so multiple uses of astrology.
So, Prabhuji, one more thing coming to my mind. Like you're saying that, like Srila Prabhupada were in this opinion that we should have cows and, we should focus on farming and live chanting the Lord's name and, make our life successful. But what about, those kind of pandemics that come? Like, can we let other people and ourselves die just diseases coming? So what is the difference between an animal and a human if we are not trying to, do something better?
No.
Animals also, if they get into this disease and all that, and they get swapped up.
No, the point is, first you create a problem and then you create a solution. That is this civilization. Why these diseases are coming? Because of modern civilization, because of these inventions. So the first thing is, disease will never come if we are already following system of God. The very fact we are trying to alter the system of God, diseases are coming. So Corona, AIDS, nobody 20 years back even imagined about Corona or AIDS or something like this. But this whole system has actually this. All this system has because we are trying to tamper with nature, these diseases are problem. So this is not a sensible thing, no. You create problem and then solution, then problem. So better follow God's system and the problem is solved from the root. There will be no problem at all. That's the solution.
Okay. Thank you for explaining. Thank you.
Okay.
Please ask one more question. Do we
That's
still
it.
have time?
Yeah.
So, as you did mention, that our thoughts, our attitudes, our sensuous desires and all, none of that actually have anything to do with the self. But what about our deepest longings, that they're deep within the heart? Are they something that is part of the self, or no, is there something other or substance that we could detect that is?
The question is we are not so we all have some deepest longings within us, deepest desires, isn't it? So are they part of ourself? Now, one thing is that our deep desires in our core, the deep longings, it might feel that this is I. And all these psychiatrists and psychologists, in the West, they will like to also propose this theory. Okay, this is you. This the deepest longing within your heart. This is you. But according to Bhagavad Gita and according to Vedic tradition, even those deepest longings, those what is it? It might seem that is I, but even those are not. Actually, those desires won't belong to us. But those desires are clinging to our soul since many lifetimes. That is why it seems that this is a part of me. And it's almost like lust. What is lust? Lust is the deepest desire in any person, isn't it? And we can't get rid of it. Difficult. Even demigods. But Krishna says even this, which is a reflex of human and animal and any living entity, even this is not you. And that is a challenge, by the way. We have to get rid of all these. Actually, getting rid of superficial desires, that's not a problem. Getting rid of deep longings in our heart, that is the challenge. That spirituality will erase. If it is done with proper attitude, with patience. That's the only solution. Otherwise, there's no solution for that. But that's really scary sometimes. That's scary because when we try to touch our deep desires, we will really be bewildered. We'll get fear and we'll get frustration. And for that, you need help of God. That is why God says, take my help. Otherwise, it can be really fearful, it can be really a disaster. You can go mad, isn't it? Touching those desires. It can actually land you in psychological problems and diseases. So that is why this path of spirituality is here. Take help of devotees and God. Follow proper system. And then things will work out slowly and steadily.
What about the desire to be seen? What about the desire to love and be loved?
The desire to be loved and loved? To love and be loved? Yeah. So our system is to connect all our desires with God. So yeah, so this is a deep desire in our heart to love and be loved. But that desire is connected to this world. That's the whole problem. We want to be loved by others and we want to love others. So by the way, that's the whole Western civilization, isn't it? It's based on this fact. So now we have to get rid of this desire. But how to get rid of this desire? By connecting this back to God. We want to be loved, okay, be loved by God. We want to love, okay, love God. Buddhists and other meditators, they want to erase this. But our system is, don't erase this, it's difficult. Reconnect it to God. Our system is this. Disconnect from this material world. And that's what whole Krishna consciousness is. Identify your deep desires and reconnect it to God. So everybody has different desires, different longings and different problems, different emotions. We have to all disconnect and reconnect. So the example given is, you have a farm and you have a crop, small crop. So you take it out and sow it somewhere else. So when they grow rice, you know what they do? When we grow rice, so first we make saplings of the rice. So on a small piece of land, we make saplings. So when we have a lot of saplings, we take it out and then again sow it on the farm. Exactly like this. You take your emotions out and then connect it to God. And that intelligence will be given by chanting, by holy names, slowly and steadily. There is no other way to do this. We have to face ourselves. We can't avoid ourselves. One day we have to face ourselves and we move forward. We need help from devotees, we need help from God. There is no escape, there is no shortcut to that. And there is no magic, there is no miracle. Everybody has to do on themselves. We are there, devotees are there to help each other, inspire each other. Okay, that's it.